Shalom. This relates to quick news. You have a Social Security could be cut by 24% by 2033 relating to trust fund depletion. So pretty much it might not even be a Social Security relating to when that time comes. If it even goes to that time. That was Google report. You had somebody post a video relating to a Billings, Montana woman tried to run over IUIC, the Hebrew Israelite group in that particular area. Pretty much attempted MURDER. You know what I mean? So she gets 22 years, according to that article. A lot of time in prison because it was, attempted cert. You know what I mean? That was attempted using a motorized vehicle. You know what I mean? And you seeing these vehicles used relating to as weapons, man. You know what I mean? And according to some say on that report, she pretty much lied and say they were a T group, a hate T group, and but really it was something, probably she was cut in some way or felt offended in some way. That's what made her act out in a certain manner. So scripture talks about let me go to a few scriptures real quick. The Lord created spirits for vengeance. They shall lay on sword strokes and appease the one who made them, man, in a matter of speaking. That's Sirach 39 and 28. You know what I mean? So there's spirits on these people, man. There's a major demon on her for her to do that, man. Regardless what she agreed to it or not, agree with it or not, that doesn't give her a right to do what she did, man. You know what I mean? You have let me go to ABC real quick. You had a few events happen. You had cocaine worth more than $1 million seized at the Texas border. You had an incident relating to a Manhattan shooting. Let me get that right here. Manhattan office building related to the deletion of 4 people. You having another relating to the Manhattan shooter suspected having CTE, which is mentioned in NFL notes. Let me get that real quick. That means chronic traumatic chronic traumatic encephalopathy. CT is pretty much is a brain disease that progressively damage over the brain over years, over times. People with that are in aggressive type sports like football, boxing, where the brain gets hit, repetitively banging, like a boxer get hit in his brain, or a football player with a helmet, so over years of time, you had it causes progressive damage relating to that, and thoughts to cause by repeated head injuries, pretty much head injuries, concussions, concussive type blows, man. It's found mostly in athletes, military veterans, and incurable, permanent, and over time it can worsen, even cause dementia. And you have football players that like Lau Zato and different other football players. One that played in the other one, I believe he committed suicide relating to that. So it could have been CTE related and different things. So it's a degenerative brain disease. Boxers, football players, different aggressive type sport athletes, they would be prone to possibly getting that. You have anyway, that shooter claiming CTE was behind that, allegedly. Also MMA, MMA fighters, different ones, because where they would get potentially punched in the head and different things, and over a period of time, it's pretty much your brain becomes like a scrambled egg, man. Now you had heavy rain floods causing landslides and washed away. You have mudslides and heavy rains in Beijing. 38 people deleted and plus. You have now this relates to the Midtown Manhattan office building. There's pictures of this showing that. Get second address, it's 21, 3 people included an off-duty officer in Midtown Manhattan, the office building shooting relating to that. Relating to the suspect. You had 2 children deleted after a barge collides, sails off Miami Beach. This is just news from ABC. You have the sweltering heat, a heat stream that's moving across the country, all over the country, from the Carolinas to the Floridas, up to the northeast in different areas. So you're going to have a heat index that feels over 110 degrees. It's going to feel like that. And that goes to that heat index, man. So major heat wave advisory. So You had an Army cadet from New Jersey, which is Army cadet. You got Fort Dix down there, but Army cadet from New Jersey dies during training at Fort Knox. So our ROTC cadet. Let me see. Go to more news. Let's see what's on the news. You have a major NYC subway delays after power outage. So you had a major power outage in NYC that affected the subways 5 hours ago. So knowing this, in the last days perilous times shall come, man. You know, we see in perilous times, bad times. New EPA, Environmental Protection Agency proposal could affect Indiana's air quality regulations. So repeals relating to regulations, climate regulations. You have of course, with that heat index, that's going to affect the grid. It's going to push strain on the grid, which is going to push more energy to be used, which affects ultimately your energy bills, your electric bills. You know what I mean? Relating to the heat wave. UK will recognize Palestine as a state if Israel doesn't agree on Gaza. You already have France recognizing Palestine as a state, and a lot of other weren't happy relating to France. So now UK will join suit if Israel don't cease fire relating to Starmer, which is the Prime Minister Starmer. Dangles Epstein, let me see. Ghislaine Maxwell dangles Epstein's house testimony in exchange for advance look at questions. Is there a rift between the two relating to Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump? So the relation could be some strain, you know what I mean? Relating to Trump wanting him to do a ceasefire, and Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu, pretty much he wants to go opposite direction. Trump says Epstein took his Mar-a-Lago spa employees, including accusers Virginia. Geffy. Bassett, Trump will make final call on China terror truce. There's reports talking about how Best is making the economy, making it look like U.S. is doing good, but those videos talking about the reality is it's not doing good. You know what I mean? So they're trying to push a sell where others will buy it. That relates to the economy. That was a video I was looking at. Pretty much he's saying that different things. You know what I mean? But the point is everybody else believing that? You know what I mean? So. Ted Cruz unveils relating to aviation safety bill spurred by Delhi, D.C. plane crash and military copter. Trump touts the biggest trade deal ever, EU, the Post, relating to 750, you have 600, 750 billion, 600 relating to billion, that's over 1,300 billion relating to between energy purchases and investments relating to the two. But I've seen a report saying, you know, it might not be as favorable or as it seems, but President Trump speaks in the open of the new golf course in Scotland. So Trump grows more frustrated with Putin, also with Benjamin Netanyahu, and relating to Putin because the deadline is coming to having a ceasefire with Ukraine, which probably will not happen. Shortens this the ceasefire deadline, so he's giving it to 10 to 12 days. I think that was that report the other day. You having life-threatening heat, which I was saying, staying hydrated and different things because of this heat, sweltering heat. They even making cooling stations for for people to get out of the heat. You're seeing this move across the country. Police are looking for a man after a couple deleted in Arkansas State Park. Push for aid and food. Let me see. Push for aid and food related to Gaza. Wiley Nickel exits Senate race the day after Roy Cooper announces candidacy. Okay. So this is just quick news. Let me get a second address 16 real quick. Look at number 18. The beginnings of sorrows and great mourning. Beginnings of famine and great death. Beginnings of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginnings of evils. Sorrows, mourning, famine, death, wars are beginnings of evils, man. What shall I do when these evils come? Beginning of famine, behold, famine plagues, tribulation, goes to the trials and tribulations, and anguish are sent as scourges for the amendments. For all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. Scripture talks about when they say peace and safety, it is sudden destruction. Sudden goes to unexpected, suddenly. Shall be in a good case. Even then shall evils grow. Go to 2nd Esdras 14. And in the age when the evil's going to increase. And that's what you're seeing. The evil's increasing because we come into the end of a particular age and rulership relating to this eon, man. That's a particular uninterrupted related time period relating to rulership. For Esau's the end of the world, which is this rulership, and Jacob's the beginning that follow. And that will be the next one. So we come in the end of an age relating to this particular rulership. For all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of the scourges. So they're not mindful of different things that's happening on earth. Judgments and deletions and different things. Behold, victuals shall be good on cheap on the earth. So they're going to pose themselves optically to be fair and favorable. But they shall think themselves to be in a good case. Even shall evils grow upon the earth. So that's a illusion, man. A form of illusion. You know what I mean? Guys as a form of peace, but behind that is much evils behind coming, man. The earth, the sword, the famine, and great confusion. That's the example. For many of them that dwell on the earth shall perish of famine, the other shall escape the hunger. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So if one don't get you, the other's going to get you, vice versa. The dead shall be cast out as dung. That's on the ground. Nice word for excrement, man, or shit, man. That's how people are going to be on the ground, man. And Scripture talks about they're not going to have time to mourn or lament in that time, man, because of the things that's going. The dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. That relates to the state and condition and things that's going to be happening in that times, man. You know what I mean? So there's not going to be time for mourning. Mourning and sorrows relating to loss, man, because it's going to be things happening very rapidly, very quickly in that time, man. You know what I mean? So it's telling you, Scripture talks about be circumspect, not as fools as wise, redeeming the times, because those days are evil, man. The days are evil. The days are evil, man. That's why you have to be circumspect, be watchful, be vigilant. For Scripture talks about no one knows of the hour. Watch, for you know not the hour when the Son of Man come. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that's why Scripture says, be sober, be vigilant, for the devil, your adversary, is coming like a roaring lion, waiting whom he may devour, man. So it's being in a watchful mindset, man, in a matter of speaking. So this is just a few. But the one talking about the IUIC right in Montana, that's relating to that woman in Billings, Montana, be exactly. Running over, relating to trying to run over, attempted whatchamacall on that group, man. And you've seen a video where it looked like an SUV vehicle trying to run them over, man. So apparently it was something that offended her to do that, man. In the spirit. 35 of Isaiah. Ezekiel real quick. Let's get that real quick. 35 and 6, I believe. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee into blood. Number 5, I meant. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Perpetual is a continuing hatred. Perpetual is something that's continuing, like for that hatred. That particular group of people have a hatred for that particular group. And it's a spiritual animus that's really put on that particular people that have against that particular people. And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by force, and of the sword in the time of their calamity. So they took advantage beyond more than what they should against a certain people that already were in a destitute and desolate state, man. They took advantage of that and capitalized off of it and exploited that more to do more, even more affliction upon them. In the time of their iniquity had an end. I'll read number 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee into blood, and blood shall pursue thee. If thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So that's pretty much recompense. It's going to be recompense, man, relating to that. You know what I mean? And this is part of the punishment to a particular people, of course. Go to Psalms 83, the ones that were Confederate, relating to the nations. Starting with Edom, the top one. Edom, who is Edom? Go to Genesis 36 and their descendants. That's in Genesis 36. Talk about their descendants. Their descendants. Start with Edom and Amalekites. Amalekites relates to Eliaphaz. He had a concubine. They bore a son, and through that son, you have the Amalekites, which are certain people. That's the offshoot. That's the cousins of Edom, man. You know what I mean? And I'll go to Genesis 36 to talk about that. The Psalms 83 talk about relating to the ones who are Confederate, relating to against a certain people, man. And that's what that was, man. And hope this helps relating to reports. This is just quick reports. This is Zayah Wolf. I want to give all praise, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Bashim Makagada, Zayah Wolf Shalom.